Testing 1, 2. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. We'll begin the council meeting in just a moment. If you could take your seats. On va commencer la réunion du conseil dans une minute. Good morning and welcome to the City Council meeting of the 9th of April 2014. Bon matin.
Good morning. This is the City Council meeting of April 9th, 2014.
People who could please stand for prayer and remain standing for the singing of our national anthem. Almighty God, let us work together to serve all our people. Dieu Tout-Puissant, aidez-nous à travailler ensemble afin de bien servir nos citoyens. Before our national anthem, I'd ask that we remain standing for a moment of silence in memory of Jamie Fisher. As many of you know, Mr. Fisher passed away recently, and he served on Ottawa City Council from 1985 to 1991 as a representative for what was the ward at the time called Elmdale, which is now primarily Kitchissippi Ward. So if you could please join me in a moment of silence in memory of the late Jamie Fisher. Thank you. Merci. It's now my pleasure to ask Councillor Catherine Hobbs to introduce our very special guests who are here to sing our national anthem. Councillor.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'm really proud today to have the St. George Performance Choir here. The director of the Performance Choir is Magdalena Kapkan, who's over there in the red. The St. George Performance Choir is comprised of grade 4, 5, and 6 students. Over the past 5 years, the choir has been involved in many activities, including singing for the residents of the Grace Manor Nursing Home every Christmas. They participate in the Ottawa Catholic School Board musicals and choral celebration, performing for the Conference of Canadian Catholic Trustees, and singing O Canada at a 67s game. They have also performed on the Rogers TV program Sing. Now, the mayor was asking them this morning if they were doing this bilingually, and they are, of course, but they have also, their repertoire includes songs in various languages, including Latin, Italian, and Croatian. So they are very excited to be singing the O Canada here for you today, and I'm pleased to also welcome 3 parents that are here from the school as well. Thank you very much, and take it away.
Oh, Canada, our home and native land, true patriot love in all our sons' command. Qu'à bras et porter l'épée, il s'est porté la croix. Ton histoire est une épopée.
That was excellent. Thank you very, very much, the students from St. George's, and it's great to have you here. Merci beaucoup. We would normally at this time have our City Builder Award. Unfortunately, the individual chosen was ill and not able to be with us today, so we'll reschedule that honor to that individual a little later. It's my pleasure to welcome all of you here today to City Hall, some guests from the United Way campaign, and I'd ask Councillors Matt Fleury and Mark Taylor, who are the honorary co-chairs of the City of Ottawa 2013 United Way Employee Campaign, to come forward, along with Dan Chenier, chair of the campaign, Bernadine Clifford, manager of the United Way campaign team, and also all the members of the team, if they could come forward, along with Goldie Hyder, campaign co-chair for United Way Centraide, and Michael Allen as well. Now, anyone who's a member of the United Way team, come on up. I don't know who else is here. Good to have you all here. And also representing United Way, we have Joan Hyatt, Vice President, Sue Hutton, and Derek Delouche. First of all, let me begin by thanking each and every city employee who worked on the campaign, participated in various events and activities, and of course donated to the United Way campaign Centraide.
I would like to thank each and every city employee who worked on the campaign, participated in various events and activities, and donated to United Way.
I have the privilege of meeting people who in some way have benefited from the work of the United Way and from your donations. I'm proud and humbled to see firsthand the impact that City of Ottawa employees have had on the lives of those in our community most in need. Since it was designated the corporate charity of choice for the City of Ottawa in 2001, the City has raised more than $6.6 million for United Way Centraide. The campaign goal for this year was $500,000, and I'm very pleased to report, thanks to the efforts of these people and many others, we surpassed that goal and raised $519,007. Congratulations, City employees. Truly, we know that when we work together, good things can happen. Certainement, nous savons que lorsque notre...
Truly, we know that when we work together, we can indeed make change happen.
Thank you all, to the employees, for your generosity, to those who have taken on a leadership role, Dan Chenier and Bernie, and certainly our council colleagues Mark and Mathieu for taking on the role of honorary chair. I'd now ask Councillor Fleury and Taylor to come forward and say a few words.
All right, Matt wants me to start. Well, thank you very much, Mr. Mayor. The theme for this year's 2013 campaign was Giving is Groovy, and the idea was to put more fun into the serious act of donating to help support the serious work that United Way and its member agencies do. The City of Ottawa employees proved how groovy they can be with their pledge form donations, bake sales, pizza lunches, and silent auctions. There were chocolate bar sales, book sales, and chili lunches. And events like this combined raised more than $97,000 this year. It's impossible to measure how many employees participated in these fundraising efforts, but it's difficult to find many folks across our corporation who did not. More participation leads not only to more money raised, but also to more awareness of the United Way's impact in our community and better outcomes for our residents.
We every year, Mark was talking about some of the initiatives that are ongoing. We get to attend the golf tournament and others, but one that comes up every year that's just amazing is the rodeo at OC Transpo. It's early in the morning. It's part of a legitimate competition for our bus drivers who compete in this circuit. Paratransport drivers are included as well and do compete. And it's just a fundraising opportunity that really brings the work environment and really pulls in a lot of goodwill in terms of our employees, but also in terms of the overall campaign goal. Vous savez, la campagne Centraide est...
You know, United Way makes people want to participate. They take part, whether it's through buying cookies here at City Hall or other events that take place in every department of the city. But there are also businesses that take part. So when we have silent auctions, for example, or when we can sell some items, this contributes to our goal, which was $500,000 this year.
And the business community also stepped up to help the City of Ottawa with its campaign and support us. In total, 138 businesses provided $68,000 in cash and in-kind donations such as food, silent auction item prizes, and tent rentals. These donations played a significant role in the success of the staff launch, the golf tournament, and the OBI silent auction. To all of our sponsors and the hard work of the city employees, thank you very much for your generosity. These are the kinds of things that really go to show that, choosing to work for the City of Ottawa is not just a career choice, but it's also a passion. You're following a desire to want to provide and give back to your community, and it often spills out of the confines of your day-to-day job here at the city, and the United Way Employee Campaign is just one of the ways in which we see that. Our last words of thanks, but certainly not least, go to the Executive Committee, Dan, Lisa, Bernadine, Christina, Nancy, Jessica, Tanya. Your leadership, vision, and creativity were instrumental in pulling together this year's successful campaign. And we certainly couldn't have done it without you, and we couldn't have done it without all of the folks across the entire corporation who supported. So thank you very, very much for another successful year helping those in our community who need our help.
Vous le savez, on a une équipe fabuleuse.
You know, we have a fabulous team that works on the campaign every year.
The leaders that lead our campaign, Dan Chenier, Bernie, Sue, we have Nancy and Tanya that are also have been involved for many years. I wanted to make a special mention this year. I've been a co-campaign city chair for 3 years now. And every year, Dan Chenier stands up for the challenge. And I wanted to make a special mention this year for Dan's work and really challenge the executive team at City Hall to really, it's not that Dan shouldn't do it next year. It's that we need others to step up and do it as well. It's such an amazing campaign. It shows leadership across the corporation and really pushes the individual department to step up. Sans plus tarder, j'aimerais inviter une personne.
And I'd like to invite a special person.
His model was Angie and I. Citywide, we went around, met with tons of amazing individuals across our city, promoted campaigns. But this year, we had really an amazing co-campaign team that really worked wonderfully across the city. So I would like to invite Goldie Hyder, who was helped this year by Barbara Crook, to come and say a few words about this year's campaign and maybe make a special, explain how the City of Ottawa's campaign really benefits the overall theme.
Well, thank you very much, Matthew, and good morning. I thought it was very fitting, Mayor, this morning that the choir kicked it off, not because I plan on singing my remarks, because I don't, but because I think it speaks to the harmony between City of Ottawa's campaign and the United Way in our communities. And that's the purpose of me being here today. On behalf of the United Way campaign co-chair, Barbara Crook, thank you all to the City of Ottawa employees for their continued commitment to the United Way and to making Ottawa a better community. The City of Ottawa, as the Mayor alluded to, had chosen United Way as their charity of choice, and consistently, year after year, with nearly 15,000, up to 17,000, depending on the season, I learned this morning, employees in 300 locations, this campaign succeeds as one of the top campaigns in Ottawa. In fact, I would call it the Gold Star campaign. It is fitting that this week, National Volunteer Week, we recognize and applaud the team of 500 volunteers that make this possible. These volunteers, including a dedicated steering committee led by City Councillors Mark Taylor and Matthew Fleury, working alongside senior staff such as Dan Chenier, the lead, organized a golf tournament, Mayor's Friends and Leaders breakfasts, online auctions, appreciation events for sponsors and volunteers, and the sale of countless cupcakes and bowls of chili, and I'm pretty sure they kept doing their day jobs throughout all of that as well. So it's a remarkable commitment, and we thank you for that. The campaign theme of Giving is Groovy certainly hit its mark, probably appropriate. We're all in pink today as well. In a drive to exceed their $500,000 goal, as the Mayor alluded to, they reopened their campaign in February 2014 that featured a unique raffle draw that only the city could support, which was a chance to blow up the ice and open our waterways for spring. Now, this past decade has seen city employees raise nearly $5 million and change over 17,500 lives for the better through these donations. And when you consider the many community services that the City of Ottawa employees provide in their services and their investments, the number of lives changed is greatly magnified and even more astounding. These donated funds go directly to supporting some of our city's most vulnerable people, whether there are people facing a crisis in their lives, isolated seniors, or children at risk. In addition, the city generously donates the crew and equipment to install over 500 lamppost signs throughout 17 major Ottawa traffic corridors that gives the campaign much-needed visibility. Especially this year with all the ice they probably had to scrape off the... Together, we're building a stronger, healthier, safer city for everyone who calls Ottawa home. So again, on behalf of United Way, Barbara and I, and the entire teams of volunteers, we want to thank you most sincerely for a job very, very well done.
Thank you. Dan, did you want to say anything? All right, so I think we're going to gather just in front of the podium for a photo for Roger. And again, my sincere thanks to the entire team of volunteers who work so hard to not only achieve but surpass our goal. And as Goldie pointed out, these dollars stay in the community and they go directly to help those people, many of whom could be family members, neighbors, friends. The statistic is quite remarkable. 1 in 3 is touched in one way or another by the United Way. So thank you. Merci beaucoup. And we'll just stand right here. Madam Deputy Clerk, a roll call, please.
Conseiller Manette.
Present.
Councillor Blois. Councillor Harder. Councillor Wilkinson.
Present.
Councillor El Shantiri.
Present.
Councillor Caudry.
Present.
Councillor Taylor.
Here.
Councillor
Thanks,
Shirelli.
Matt. Here.
Councillor Eglai.
Here.
Councillor Deans.
Here.
Councillor Tierney.
Present.
Conseiller Fleury.
Ici.
Councillor Clark.
Present.
Councillor Holmes.
Here.
Councillor Hobbs.
Here.
Councillor McCrae.
Here.
Councillor Chernyshenko.
Present.
Councillor Hume. Councillor Blais.
Present.
Councillor Thompson.
Present.
Councillor Moffat.
Here.
Conseiller DeRoche.
Here.
Councillor Hughley.
Here.
Mayor Watson.
Ici.
Le quorum est atteint, Monsieur le Maire.
Merci. Confirmation of minutes from the meeting of the 26th of March 2014. Carried. Declaration of interest, including those originally arising from prior meetings. Déclaration de conflit d'intérêt. Received none. Communications as presented. Regrets. Councillor Hume has advised he'll be absent from the council meeting of the 9th of April 2014. Motion to introduce reports. Motion portant présentation de rapport. Councillor Moffat, seconded by Councillor Thompson, please.
Moved by myself, seconded by Councillor Thompson, that Agriculture, Rural Affairs Committee Report 40, Finance and Economic Development Committee Reports 39A and 42, and Planning Committee Report 67 be received and considered.
Carried. Committee reports. Agriculture and Rural Affairs Committee Report number 40. Zoning 7149 McCordick Road. There's a technical amendment by Councillor Thompson, please.
Thank you, Your Worship. I'll just read the resolution. Be it therefore resolved that recommendation 1 of this report read as follows, that Council approve an amendment to zoning bylaw 2008-250 to change the zoning of 7149 McCordick Road to agricultural subzone 3 AG3 to Agricultural Subzone 8 AG8 and to Agricultural Subzone 3 Rural Exception as shown in Document 1 and detailed in Document 2. Thank you.
So this is a technical amendment recommended by staff. On the amendment? Carried. On the report as amended?
Carried.
Carried. Item number 2, zoning 6182 Bank Street, zonage 6182 Rue Bank. Carried. Item number 3, zoning 5650 Mitch Owens Road, zonage 5650 Chemin Mitch Owens. Carried. The Finance and Economic Development Committee report number 42. Item number 4, report on budget expenses pursuant to Ontario Regulation 284-09. Carried. Item number 5, 2014 tax ratios and other tax policies, coefficients fiscaux et autres politiques d'imposition de 2014. On the report. Carried. Item number 6, corporate business case approach, dossier de décision municipale. Received. A planning committee report number 67, rapport numéro 67 du comité de l'urbanisme, zoning 2148 Carling Avenue and 830 Aaron Avenue, zonage 2148 Avenue Carling et 830 Avenue Aaron. There's a technical amendment to be moved by Councillor Harder, please. Harder.
Yeah. It's therefore be it resolved that the French recommendations be corrected to accurately reflect the wording contained in the English recommendations. And then there is all the French, which I could read for you if you'd like, but that is the reason we're doing this.
Dispense. So this is a technical amendment moved by Councillor Harder, seconded by Councillor Blais. Carried. And so on the main motion as amended. Carried. Item number 8, permanent signs on private properties bylaw 2005-439, signs on windows. The committee recommendation is this be referred to the 2014-2018 terms of council priorities. Carried. Does anyone wish to remove anything from the bulk consent agenda? So on the bulk consent agenda as presented. Carried. Disposition of items approved by committee under delegated authority suite à donner des articles ratifiés par les comités en vertu de pouvoirs délégués. Carried. Received. Adopté. Motion to adopt reports. Councillor Moffat, please.
Moved by myself, seconded by Councillor Thompson, that Agricultural Affairs Committee Report 40, Finance and Economic Development Committee Reports 39A and 42, and Planning Committee Report 67 be received and adopted as amended.
Carried. Motions of which notice have been previously given. Motion dont avis a été donnée entièrement. Councillor Monette, please, if you'd like to introduce this. And as this is a revisiting of a previous council decision, 3/4 votes of members present and voting are required to approve. Councillor Monette, please, and seconded by Councillor Blois.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Basically, the motion, what it reads is that I'll just go to whereas. Whereas, although the portion of reserve dedicated to Ward 19 were expended by December 31st, 2013 deadline of $7,709 remains, the portion of reserve dedicated to Ward 1. And whereas Councillor Monette has indicated he wishes to allocate the remaining funds to Cardinal Creek Community Park or to Friends of Petrie Island for new signage at the beach, and he is aware that this request involves council revisiting a previous decision requires a vote of 3/4 to present of those present for voting to take effect. Therefore, be it resolved that City Council approve Cumberland Reserve Fund Project 902250 not to be closed, and that the balance of $7,709 be used for additional projects being completed by the end of November 30th, 2014.
This is the end of the Peter Clark Memorial Fund.
Okay, so that's right. Does anyone have any other issues? On the motion as presented? Carried. Thank you. Thank you, Councillor Monette. Don't go wild with that 7,000. The next item is a motion by Councillor Holmes. It was given previous notice, seconded by Councillor Chernyshenko on tax assistance rehabilitation grant. Councillor Holmes, please.
Thanks very much, Your Worship. This relates to 345, 357 Booth Street, where a previous owner had been provided with the Brownfields Assistance Program, but subsequently the property was sold, and the new owner is asking for the continuation of that grant. So this motion provides the grant. The development is exactly the same as as the past development. Thanks.
Okay. Thank you. On the motion, carried. The next notice of motion is also by Councillor Holmes, seconded by Councillor Taylor. Councillor Holmes, please, on the Government of Ontario Healthy Kids Community Challenge.
Thanks very much, Your Worship. This is a very recent granting program from the province, and we have been able to get in under the wire with organizing stakeholders to meet and to decide how to design this program. The stakeholders, including school boards and health centres and the Children's Hospital of Ontario, among others, all decided that StatsCan evidence should be used. So StatsCan, low-income cutoff, percentage of no high school education, percentage of lone parent families, and percent of unemployed, as well as the Best Starts program, and the Neighbourhoods program that the University of Ottawa had done their research project on. So the area had to be under 200,000 population, so that is why you see the areas that have come forward agreed to by the stakeholders, and they all had to be within, there's a list attached that's been sent out to you, they all had to be within the designated area of 200,000 population, and meeting the criteria of low-income cutoff and school readiness in particular for children. So, Mr. Chair, I think either Dan Chenier or Dr. Levy are here to answer any questions.
Okay. So we have a question from Councillor Eglai, please. And I think if Dr. Levy and Mr. Chenier could come
Thank you, Mr.
forward.
Mayor. I think this is probably a question for Dr. Levy. First of all, I want to thank both yourself, Dr. Levy, and Dan. After the OPH presentation a couple of weeks ago, I had a good meeting with staff from both of your departments, and it was very informative. So following up from that meeting and some other discussions, the question I have for you, Dr. Levy, is OPH prepared to review the data to see if there's an opportunity to include more communities or pockets of communities, community need, rather?
Thank you. Through you, Mr. Mayor. And in response to that question, certainly we would be able to do that.
Thank you very much.
Okay, so on the motion as presented.
Sur la motion, merci, conseiller Holmes, conseiller Taylor. Motion exigeant la suspension des règles de procédure. Non. Avis de motion pour étude à un moment ultérieur. Motion de présentation des règlements. Conseiller Moffett. Je propose, appuyé par le conseiller Thompson, que les règlements énumérés à l'ordre du jour sous la rubrique motion de présentation des règlements 3 lectures soient lus et adoptés. Motion adoptée. Règlement de ratification. Je propose, appuyé par la conseillère Thompson, que le règlement suivant soit lui adopté. Règlement ratifiant les délibérations du Conseil du 9 avril 2014. Motion adoptée. Demande de renseignement. Nous n'en avons reçu aucune.
Quick inquiry, why are the variable message signs on the 174 not being used when there are traffic disruptions due to accidents such as this morning?
Okay, so if we can get that to the Deputy Clerk. Are there any other written inquiries at this point? No. Councillor Moffat, on adjournment, please.
Moved by myself, seconded by Councillor Thompson, that the proceedings of the City Council meeting of the 9th of April 2014 be adjourned.
On the motion, carried, adopté. Meeting adjourned. Thank you all very much. Merci beaucoup.